The final solution has arrived. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sober Living Snippets, where we live alcohol-free so we can heal our relationships, feel youthful again, and ditch regret and shame. I'm Becca Jacobson, and it's snippet time. Today, I have for you the solution to a big problem, and I am so excited to share it with you. I could hardly wait to turn on the microphone. Gals, I've figured it out. I've figured out the solution to a common problem that we all have. So let me first describe the problem, see if you can relate to it, and then I'm going to give you a 6-step solution. Get your pen out. There are 6 very specific steps I want you to take to overcome this problem. First of all, what is the problem? We have a hard time forgiving ourselves. This is pretty much universal. Some of us will beat ourselves up worse than others, but we all have things in the past that we've done that we regret. We've made mistakes. We know it. And we have a very hard time just saying, I forgive myself completely. I am over it. I'm done. We just, we're willing to forgive others, but not ourselves. So how can we solve this problem? And let me tell you, it's very important to solve this problem because without self-love, we cannot move forward on our growth path. There's just no way around it. We can't skip this step. There it is. You can do all the other stuff. Forgive everybody else, grow and mature emotionally and do all of it. But if you're holding a grudge against yourself, you're not going to get full and complete happiness, full and complete freedom. It's a non-negotiable element. Has to be done. That's why I'm always telling you, no negative self-talk. And you are always doing what? Giving yourself negative self-talk. So I recognize this is a problem. I hear it. I don't have to ask about whether or not you're giving yourself negative self-talk. All I have to do is talk to you. I hear it almost every day. It comes through in a text message or an email, during a one-on-one call, during a group call, in the breakout rooms at one of my masterclasses, during my 5 or 10-day or 31-day challenges, and all the ways in which I communicate and connect with you. I can hear it in the way you talk about yourself. And most of the time, in fact, I'd say pretty much always, you don't even notice that you've said it. I did this stupid thing last night. And then we say, oh, I didn't mean that I was stupid. It's still negative self-talk. The subconscious does not know the difference between you were just kidding and you're serious. That's how important this is, that we never put ourselves down ever under any circumstances. And yet we do. Actually, I'm not going to say we today. You do. I don't do this anymore. I do not do it. I'm over it. And I was the queen of this, the queen. I ruled the planet when it came to beating myself up, but I don't do it ever. So, since you're doing it anyway, I thought, okay, well, since they're already doing it, I can't seem to stop them by just telling them, don't do it. What else can I do? How can I help them? What's the solution to this problem? And I've come up with the answer. It is a 6-step process I want you to go through, and it's going to solve this once and for all. Are you ready for Becca's Beat Yourself Up Bonanza? That's what this is called. It's the Beat Yourself Up Bonanza from Becca. That's what we're calling it. Please write that at the top of the page. Becca's Beat Yourself Up Bonanza. All right, here we go. Step number 1, get a piece of paper, list every mistake you've ever made that you can think of. I want you to spend time on this, gals. I want you to go as deep as you can. I want you to remember as far back as possible. When I say time, I mean a week, meaning you're going to start your list and then you're just going to allow yourself to think about it over several days. And every time a new mistake comes up and you remember a new one, you're going to write that down and add it to the list. And add it to the list and add it to the list, at least for 4, 5, 6 days a week. We really want a full and complete list of every mistake you've ever made. Everything you've ever been ashamed of, even mild ones, very bad ones, the secret ones, All of it's got to be written down. It's all got to go on the paper. I need you to see it in black and white in your own handwriting coming from your own heart. Okay? That is step number 1. Step number 2, you've got your nice full list. You've seen how horrible you are. There it is in black and white. No one can argue with that. There it is. I mean, you can't argue with that horror, can you? Okay, so now you're going to sit down in your sacred space, nice and quiet. You're going to take a few deep breaths and get centered and be present for this exercise. You're going to go through the list, item by item, and rate yourself on how bad was that. Now, here's the scale, okay? This is a scale of 1 to 10. At the bottom end, number 1 is you're just a little bit irritated. You were a little irritated, a little bit bad. Not bad, but, just kind of lost your, a little huffy, not much. All the way up to 10, you're Hitler. I mean, if you could, you'd kill everybody you saw. And you've done horrible, horrible things. You are the worst of the worst. You purposely steal behind people's backs. You hurt people. You're the worst. 10 is the worst. So in between, in 5, well, you're pretty bad. You purposely leave people out. You're just, general in between unkindness. So you have to decide for each item where it lies on this scale. 10 being you were the absolute worst you could be. 1 being you were just mildly bad. All right? So give this careful thought. Decide where you land on the scale. And whatever you do, okay, the trick to getting this step correct is don't give yourself a break. If you're leaning towards a 3, it's probably a 4. Might even be a 5. So generally speaking, whichever number you pick right off the top of your head, go up the scale because you're probably being too soft on yourself. And we don't want that. We do not want that in this exercise. The purpose of this exercise is to make sure you know how bad you are, the absolute worst. And so generally add 1 or 2 more numbers to whatever you automatically pick. Just up it a bit. Make it even worse. Okay, so that's step number 2. You've made your list. And now you have a rating beside each item on the list. Now I want you to go and find a friend, a person, someone you trust, someone you're willing to share this with. And I want you to sit down with them, ask them to give you some time, choose somebody who loves you, but someone who knows you well enough to be able to give their opinion on this list. And you're going to share with them item by item what you did and the rating you gave yourself. And then you're going to ask them, do you agree with me? Do you think this is worse or better? We need an objective second opinion because, like I said, you're probably going to be too easy on yourself, and we don't want that. We want to make sure you're being very honest about this. There'll be no giving yourself a break or cutting any corners. So share this with somebody, spill it all out, guts and all, on the table. If they didn't know how bad you were before, now they're going to know. Now they're going to know, and hopefully it's a person who's willing to say to you, oh my God, no, that's not a 5, that's a 7. That was horrible. How could you have done that? This is what we want from them. We really want them to help us feel all the pain, all the regret. We really want them to help dig it in, help us to see how horrible we really are. Get them to really get on board with this, help them to understand that it's an exercise that your coach gave you to do. And the whole point is that by the end of it, you're practically suicidal. This is a very important step. Don't skip it. All right, that's step number 3. Number 3. The next step, number 4, I want you to take that list and I want you to go to the craft store and buy a giant piece of poster paper, a poster board, nice big poster, okay? And some colored markers. And I want you to come home and create a poster that lists your evil deeds and beside it the rating. Nice and colorful, nice and big, really bright. We want to see this. And in fact, if you want extra brownie points, make 2 posters. Make 3 posters. We want these everywhere, okay? Now, these posters are going to go up all over the place, in your house, in your office. We want them visible. We want you seeing them everywhere you go. We don't want you ever forgetting how horrible you've been. The worst of the worst, okay? Very important step. Don't skip this. If you're really, really creative, make 4 posters. In fact, make a big giant one and stick it on the outside of your house so that the neighbors can see it. That would be good. Yeah, let's do that, okay? So now you've got your posters. You're fully aware of your evil deeds. You'll never be able to forget them, and we don't want that. There'll be no forgetting the evil deeds that you have done. Step number 5, I want you to go into your sacred space, and whatever you've got going on there, tear it down and build a shrine to your evil deeds. You could put a statue there of maybe a dragon that represents you. I want you, a picture of you could be beside it, but this is going to be a shrine to your evil deeds. A shrine to your evil deeds. Let's put some black candles in there and really make it a place where you, when you walk in that space, you can't possibly forget the whole purpose of the space is to remind you that you're an ass and always have been and always will be. And the 6th and final step, gals, I want you to go to that space not once a day, twice. If you have the time and you want extra brownie points, go 3 times. You're going to kneel down and you're going to bow and you're going to pray and you're going to honor and you're going to worship that shrine, worshiping your evil, making sure it lives on until eternity, drilling it into your heart, making sure you're never ever forgetting that you are an ass, always have been, always will be, never to escape. That's step number 6, and there you have it. Becca's Beat Yourself Senseless Bazaar. That's the process. Are you willing to do it? No? Come on. Somebody put their hand up. No? How come you all look so sour? I don't even have to see your faces to know you're going, "Wah! I would never do that." Well, I would hope not. So, quick disclaimer. I was kidding. I know you knew that, but I have to say it just in case somebody actually decides to do this. Please don't do this. Listen, gals. Yeah, being facetious. Yeah, messing with you today. But if you refuse to forgive yourself, and by the way, self-forgiveness is a matter of just making a decision. That's it. If you're, some women hold on to this and cherish it just like I described. It's not that absurd. I mean, they don't make a shrine, but they might as well, because every single day in their own minds, they're worshiping how bad they did. When you don't forget something, when you're constantly reminding yourself of it, when you're constantly remembering it, when you're constantly feeling the emotion of I'm bad or I've been bad, that's the same as worshiping. If you were to put that much energy towards the God or the universe or whatever appeals to you, you'd be enlightened. If you took that much time focusing on what you want in this world, you would get it. If you devoted that much time, instead of beating yourself up, thinking about what you've done wrong, devote that time to thinking about how you can serve others or how you're growing or what you want or a million different things, positive thoughts, as we just heard coming from our dear little Susan Jeffers in our book study this week, you would be happy. You'd be done. You'd be happy. So if you're not willing to do this exercise, why are you willing to spend so much time thinking how bad you are? Or even if it's not thinking I'm bad, but even just remembering your so-called bad deeds from the past. Self-forgiveness, full and complete, is a decision we make, and then we do it. How do we do it? To be honest, it takes time. We have to work at it, but it starts from a decision and then willingness. We decide, I'm going to do this, and then we willingly undertake the practice of self-forgiveness. That's what it is. It's a practice. Now, I have several exercises I have women do for this in my program. I also share it in some of my classes. It depends on the topic of the class. But I have put together for you a guide that will walk you through a process of self-forgiveness, journal prompts, ways for you to start practicing self-forgiveness. But the guide won't do anything for you. I can't help you. Nothing will work unless you start with a decision. And that's all it is. All you have to do is say after me, I've decided I'm going to forgive myself. Say it again, after me, out loud. I mean it, out loud. I can hear you. I have decided I'm going to forgive myself. All right, great. Let's take this up a notch. Now I want you to say out loud, I have forgiven myself. One more time, out loud, I have forgiven myself. Beautiful. Now you have a practice. Of course, your old way of thinking is just going to come creeping back. But with intention, you can, over time, get to where that voice fades away and dies. But you have to be willing. And I've spoken to women who literally aren't willing. They say things like, I just don't see how I can forgive myself. Well, it's a decision. How do you make a decision? You just say, I've decided. But the unwillingness is, forget it. I mean, if you're saying thoughts like that, I don't see how I can do that, I don't know if I can do that, then you're done. And I'm telling you, it's just a decision. So all you have to do is, instead of saying, I don't see how I can do that, you decide, I've decided I can do that. And then you find out how and you start your practice. And as I said, I have for you a guide that I can deliver directly to your inbox. I'll tell you how to get it in a moment. And it'll walk you through this process and help you to start a practice so that you can ditch the self-disgust, stop beating yourself up, move all the way to self-love, because without self-love, you can't grow, you can't love others, and you can't evolve. You are trapped, you're stuck. I would be willing to argue that it's worse if you say, I can't forgive myself, than saying, I won't forgive, Uncle Joe for what he did to me, or my stepdad, or whoever it is. We've all got somebody we just have a hard time forgiving. But the women in my program are willing. They come in, they go, okay, I'm going to see how I can move into forgiveness for that person, even though what they did to me was so horrible. They try. They're willing. I hear willingness there all the time. But the same women will not express willingness to forgive themselves. That's bizarro behavior. And it's also, and I've said this many times on the snippets, just go back through one of the 412 episodes or whatever it is, and you'll hear me talking about anyone who's determined to continue to beat themselves up is on an ego trip. It's really no different than saying, I'm the best, I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, and I'm better than you, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Saying, I'm the worst, I'm worse than you, I'm the worst is just as egotistical. So get over yourself, my dear. You're not that special. What you've done in the past is not that special. You just made a mistake. Get over yourself. There it is. Now listen, if you want that self-forgiveness guide, join me tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow, April 26th at noon Eastern for a 90-minute masterclass called Tame Triggers and Crush Cravings. And while we're there, we're definitely going to talk about self-forgiveness, because get this, being triggered, craving alcohol is all tied to a lack of self-love. So it's all tied together. Join me tomorrow, gals. Go to the show notes, sign up, come to the class. I'll give you the self-forgiveness guide, not to mention a whole lot more. It's time we met. So sign up. Let's get together tomorrow. And in the meantime, remember, there's no point in trying to live alcohol-free on the surface. We don't do fluff in Snippet Land. I appreciate you more than you know. See you tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back tomorrow so we can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.